Okay, so I guess I'm doing this now. Okay, hey guys, it's currently 3 a.m. and instead of sleeping, because I tend to get this really fun thing that people like to call insomnia. Fellow people with ADHD probably recognize the feeling of being the most productive at 3 a.m. when nobody is awake to see your accomplishments and where you can be alone with your thoughts. Anyway, I just wanted to make a quick video about, like, my videos regarding MatPat and just about, like, the reason why I go after him, because there are, like, people who misunderstand me and who seem to think that if, like, they say things like, well, if you don't like him, then why not just, like, not watch him? And it's just like, you know what? That would be perfectly reasonable if I was just hating on him the whole time, but, like, I feel like I really don't do that. I mean, I've started to get to a point where I've, like, responding to certain comments with really passive-aggressive replies because I'm sick of people just not listening to me in my videos. It's like, do you not have a concept of watching a video before you leave a comment on it? Okay, maybe I'm being a little too passive-aggressive, but I hope you get my point. So I just wanted to make a video where I give context to the reason why I make my videos on MatPat and why I will probably make videos on other people in the future who may be content creators, who may have young, impressionable audiences, who I feel are extremely problematic. In fact, there are a few I've had my eye on, and I've been trying to work on too many videos at the same time, and my partner just came over for a visit, and that kind of messed me up. So I'm kind of out of my groove right now, so whatever. That's not why you clicked on this video. Okay, so the context is basically MatPat's theories are bad, but if they were just bad, then that wouldn't warrant me making videos about him. And I know sometimes I harp on things that don't really matter that much, like how he doesn't have the same sense of humor as me, and I really hate the sound of his voice. I think it's extremely grating. It's very smarmy. It's very, like he sounds like a smartass. He sounds like he's saying, haha, I'm better than you because I'm smart and I figured this out with my big brain. But, like, not like that, like actually annoying, you know? But it's like, obviously, MatPat can make videos about whatever he wants, like that's his right, just like I'm allowed to criticize him for doing it, and pretty much, I mean, like anyone's allowed to criticize me for what I do, obviously. I'm not saying that anyone should be silenced here or anything. The issue comes with MatPat trying to sort of like force his theories down people's throats. Which, I mean, if you've seen his videos, you know he absolutely does that. Like, you can hear it in the tone of his voice, and, like, the fact that he literally hides evidence from people. I was able to look this up in 5 seconds! I've since, for example, seen Mossbag's video about MatPat's video, and he actually brought up a lot of things that I forgot to take into account. Like, for example, how the pure vessel is seen using a focus ability, which is absolute canonical proof, even in MatPat's view, that the Pale King is not the only being that can use focus abilities. The other thing is that MatPat apparently addressed the criticism he got and tried to use ad hoc explanations for why that one scene where these two characters are in the same room doesn't actually debunk his theory at all, and it's like, bro, know when you've been had. This is absolute proof that your theory is wrong. You left it out of your video on purpose. I know you did. There's no way that doing research for this video you just never came across it. That kind of dishonesty, that kind of, like, hiding of evidence and bolstering evidence that isn't actually there is dangerous, especially when it's being shown to kids. Like, I should know, I'm an ex-cult member. If you look in my, actually, I think I need to look at it again to make sure I know what it says, because I'm a goddamn idiot. But yeah, in the description of my channel, which I think probably more people need to read because it has information about me that is somewhat important. But you'll notice right here where it says, Proud Mormon Apostate. That basically just means I left the Mormon church and I am not looking back. And yes, Mormonism is absolutely a cult. I've talked about this before, so I won't go into detail here, but basically, Mormonism checks off, like, the vast majority of sort of criteria that appears in the BITE model, invented by Stephen Hassan, in order to describe how cults control people. It's basically a way to identify cults. And those kind of harmful thinking patterns, accepting ad hoc explanations for things instead of looking deeper into them, like, I hope you guys recognize the reason why I would be against that. Obviously, MatPat should be allowed to make whatever insane theories his brain can possibly come up with. It's the dishonesty part that annoys me the most. And that's why I try to point out the flaws in his reasoning, and also the fact that he misgenders every non-binary character that he's ever talked about, to my knowledge anyway. I haven't fact-checked that whole thing for myself, but as we have probably already figured out, I get intensely annoyed by MatPat's misgendering of characters, because it's like, bro, are you kidding me right now? Like, I don't know how coherent any of that was, but hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. Hopefully you guys understand now why I make videos on MatPat and why it matters so much to me that people criticize him. And I would just like to remind everyone right here, right now, do not send hate to MatPat. Don't do it. It's such a trashy thing to do. Don't send hate on my behalf. Just don't send hate at all. If you're going to send hate, because I guess I can't control you, so I guess you can send hate if you really want to. Please, please don't do it on my behalf. I don't want to hear about people harassing someone because of me. Anyway, so I guess I'm just using this. I'll use this as like the introductory video to the videos where I tell people that they need to stop. And hopefully then people will just watch it and understand, so I don't have to explain myself over and over again. And I hope people will actually watch it, because then this whole thing was pointless. Anyways, so I hope you guys are doing well. I'll try to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. Actually, before this video ends, there's one more thing that I want to say. Going forward with the rest of the videos in this playlist, I want you guys to keep 3 things in mind. 1, the burden of proof is on the one making the claim. If I tell you I was abducted by aliens, would you set out to prove that I wasn't abducted by aliens? No, it would be on me to prove that I was abducted by aliens. And this applies to negative claims too. If I try to tell you God does not exist, the burden of proof would still be on me, because I'm the one who is making the claim, so I would have to make a case that God does not exist. 2, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. If I tell you I had pancakes for breakfast this morning, you have no reason to question that, right? That's definitely not an extraordinary claim. I mean, people have pancakes for breakfast all the time, in all different places, so like, it's not unreasonable to assume that I'm probably telling the truth. But if I tell you I have an invisible elephant in my garage, then that's probably going to make you skeptical, because as far as we know, invisible elephants don't exist, and even if they did, they wouldn't be hanging out in people's garages. So, the more outlandish the claim is, the better proof it requires. And 3, if it seems unbelievable, it probably is. Like my grandpa always used to say, believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. It's a very good idea to exercise healthy skepticism whenever you can. If something just doesn't seem right to you, then look into that, because chances are you might be onto something. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one. Goodbye. I'm sure if nothing else, future me will turn that into something coherent.